the Woodland Preservation and Stewardship Act of 2019, and I was fortunate enough to work on it with the Audubon Society in Rhode Island. So I'd like to thank Meg Kerr and Ken Payne for their amazing work on this bill. So this bill would give DEM the authority to promote the stewardship of forests and woodlands in Rhode Island by convening a council to look at the wooded areas in Rhode Island and make recommendations to woodland owners on good stewardship practices and to cities and towns to help identify woodland significant areas and help with their zoning and planning. I was particularly interested in working on this legislation because of something that happened in my district, in North Kingstown, where a solar developer wanted to cut acres and acres of forest to install a solar array. And we're seeing cities and towns being pressured by development for both housing and for things like solar installations. And our planners don't always have the tools they need to consider where those would be best put. So this bill can help with that planning. So I would pass it over to Meg Kerr and Payne for more in-depth questions on this.
Thank you very much, Senator. And it just so happens that our first witness is Jonathan Barad from the Environmental Council of Rhode Island, written testimony only. So Meg, you can come on up.
Great.
Ken, would you like to come up with Meg?
Certainly. I have written testimony that I'll file in the chat. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Meg Kerr. I'm the Senior Director of Policy for the Audubon Society of Rhode Island. And we had the privilege of working with Ken on drafting this piece of legislation. I thought I would explain to you why Audubon thought this issue was important. And then we can talk a little bit about what the bill does. In the written testimony, excuse me, I got a cold, that we provided to you, I think the last page is a map that was produced by the Nature Conservancy showing wildlife connected corridors and wildlife habitat and the location of the proposed Burlow power plant, the energy power plant. Do you have that in your file? Anyway.
Yes.
I think that the combination of the conversation and the information we've been gathering as a state about the energy power plant and the solar installations made us at Audubon recognize that we value forested lands. Audubon owns about 10,000 acres of protected land. Most of that is forested. As a whole, we protect about 30% of the forested acres in the state. But about 60% of the land is privately owned. And we don't really have the tools to recognize, to consider what of those privately owned areas are really important for wildlife habitat now and into the future. I think we would argue, certainly TNC made some very compelling arguments as part of the Invenergy hearings, that the location of that power plant right at a pinch point in that connected habitat is problematic because it will block the ability of wildlife to move. I think if you zoom in and look more closely at the forested habitats in the state, there are other areas that would be of more value than others because of their connections to the connected habitat on either side. So just as a general rule, we want habitat to have, we want wildlife to have habitat, we want it to be connected so that they can move because animals move. When we think about climate change and how our environments are changing and how the habitats are changing, it's even more important that wildlife have the ability to move so that they can move as the climate changes, as the temperatures change around them. So habitat connectivity is really important. We recognize that this land is privately owned, but we would like to have a bigger conversation in the state. We look at forested lands, consider how we can, consider where the most important areas are, and then consider how do we work together to provide protection for it. We've had a hearing already on the House side, and I've spoken with a number of individuals and organizations that have concerns about the bill. And one of the biggest concerns that I hear is concern about too much regulatory authority for DEM, and that the DEM shouldn't be regulating private property, which we agree. The bill does not give DEM regulatory authority. It asks them to convene stakeholders, to do the plans, and then to create policy guidance for the local cities and towns through a regulatory process. And I also recognize that in these conversations that I've had, there are people that consider that a slippery slope, and they are concerned about that. And I guess what I would say in response to that is I hope that we can work with you all here, leaders here at the legislature, with DEM and with others, to figure out how do we, if this isn't the right way to do it, how do we work together to figure out strategies for protecting upland areas and forested areas so that we can meet the challenges that I started my testimony with.
Thank you, Meg. Any questions? Ken? Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. It's a pleasure to be here. My thinking on this actually evolved from a different frame of reference than Max did. But when she asked if I saw her and we were started talking, she said, I need to work on this. I said, I'd love to help. And so I did. The issue for me that I came in on was the need for forests in order to help with climate change. We need forests and woodlands to do that. And that's throughout Rhode Island. And it includes addressing heat island effects in cities. Trees cool areas down, trees sequester carbon. And if we're going to get to net zero, if we don't have trees, we won't do it. That's the reality. So all the roles for net zero depend on forests. And the interesting thing, post-World War II, is two phenomena that happened simultaneously. One of which is woodlands became more mature and we had tremendously increasing biomass in woodlands. And the other of which was we were urbanizing like mad, and we had breaking up of large parcels. In order to preserve rural character, many of those parcels were zoned 2 acres, and then 5 acres became standard large lot zoning. So you had a lot of stuff that was 5 acres minimum, and then keep it under 10, because then you get to tax it fully. So that was a very standard lot size, between 5 and 10 acres. And so we had, at the same time, an increase in importance of woodlands and fragmentation of the landscape. Two things happened simultaneously. The interesting thing is that in terms of stewardship, the primary resource is forest management plans, and that's for parcels over 10 acres. So now you have a whole lot of land where there are people who own woodlands but don't get any guidance about how to do stewardship. And that is what the issue was that was fascinating me. How do you get good information out to people who want to do a good job with the woodlands that they own. And you want them to do a good job because, as Heidi Quinn, Executive Director of the Farm Bureau, says, there is as much woodlands around where she is that are owned by people in that 5 to 10 acres as she has on her large parcel. Why? So that she would see immediately why it's valuable to have stewardship across the spectrum. How do you do that? Well, you want that stewardship to be standardized, which is you have a state agency expert doing it. You want the process to be public, so you have, first of all, an advisory committee that works on it. And then, if you want to have plans that are adopted based on objective data, the way to do that is through the Administrative Procedures Act. It's very standard. Statewide planning adopts all the state guideline elements through the Administrative Procedures Act. That means it's the standard for adoption is evidence placed into the record. That's why the Administrative Procedures Act was written in. Not because it created any regulatory regime, but because it created the best thing we have in Rhode Island law to assure that evidence is placed into the record as the basis of decision. The question of why woodlands was used rather than forest is because forest is a defined term in the Fire Forest and Open Space Act. It appears in zoning ordinances and comprehensive plans as referencing that program, and it would be a nightmare to have things that were forest-like defined as forest, and then they have a term that has two meanings depending on parcel size. The easy way to solve that is to use woodlands as a generic term that applies regardless of acreage, and then preserve forest for the things that are over 10 acres and subject to the Farm Forest and Open Space Act. That's why that's written that way. So, is there a need for this? Yes, there is. Does it have two kinds of origins that described so ably, if I may, and then the one I provided to you, which is about land use in Rhode Island more comprehensively. And is it important going forward that we have this kind of stewardship? Absolutely. We will not meet our greenhouse gas emission goals unless we protect and have good practices with regard to our forests and woodlands. That's the story. And it was thrilling for me to have the opportunity to think about this issue. It came positive at 11th hour. I really had to hustle to have a better day in.
Tight, yes.
I'd be delighted to answer any questions you may have with regard to the logic of it and how it works, those kinds of things.
Thank you very much, Ken, for your testimony and a written testimony as well. Are there any questions? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Nice seeing you again.
Good to be here.
Okay. Our next witness, written testimony only in support is Topher Hamlet and Safe Bay. And our next witness is William Fortune from the Rhode Island Forest Conservation Organization. Welcome. And Sheila, if you'd like to come up, Sheila Rowley, have a seat. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. WIFO is a group of private landowners, and we advocate for the preservation of forests. And while we are in favor of most of the bill, we have concerns about property rights of individuals. And I would like to read a brief statement that was prepared on our views of the bill. The Rhode Island Forest Forest Conservatives Organization, FIFCO, is a statewide non-profit volunteer organization that represents forest landowners and other forest conservationists. Our mission is the protection and wise use of islands, woodland resources through education and advocacy. We are ready to oppose the passage of the above referenced act, which goes far beyond establishing a legislative commission. While the proposed legislation does provide positive language encouraging citizens on how to protect the valued resources of our forests, we have serious concerns about the language that codifies enforcement powers of the state to mandate stewardship standards of woodlands and expands the power of local zoning boards over the private property rights of woodland owners to utilize their property. We do support the work being undertaken by the Rhode Island Forest Conservation Advisory, with financial and staff support by the Director of the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management's Division of Forest, Environment, and the Rhode Island Woodland Partnership that will be developing recommendations later this year and potential implementation of a variety of actions to improve the voluntary incentives for conserving forest lands. We recommend that the legislation be set aside for future coordination of efforts with the Forest Conservation Advocacy Committee. Thank you for taking consideration of our comments on this legislation.
Thank you very much for your comments. Are there any questions? Thank you. Sheila? Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Sheila Dormady with the Nature Conservancy. I appreciate the opportunity to express the Nature Conservancy's support for this bill, and thank you, Senator Valverde, for your leadership on this initiative. This bill does address a pressing need that we are currently facing here in Rhode Island to develop a statewide approach that would preserve the integrity and the viability of the state's woodlands. Meg Kerr, in her testimony from the Audubon Society, showed you a map of the connectivity analysis in Rhode Island. I have another picture in my testimony, because it is worth 1,000 words, to look at Rhode Island's forests in the context of the landscape from Boston to Washington, D.C. This is actually a photograph of the lights at night from NASA, and the lights obviously show you places that don't have a lot of forest in them. The dark green areas are highly forested areas, and you can see how unique Rhode Island's coastal forests are in that landscape in this region. It's really a critically important area. There's very few places like it on the East Coast, and it is. The borderlands have been a priority area for the state of Rhode Island, for the Nature Conservancy, for conservation for decades as a critically important area. And forest fragmentation and incremental degradation have been the primary threats to this area, and we have not had a comprehensive approach as a state for how we address those threats. The issue of connectivity is important both on a short-term scale, in a seasonal kind of way. Animals need to be able to move around to get to where they need to be to get the resources, the food and water that they need and shelter that they need. It's important in the times of natural disasters when something happens to a particular place where they hang out and they need to find somewhere else to get to. And it gets even more important in the context of climate change. We're already seeing range shifts. Animals and plants are moving north to higher latitudes, and they're moving up to higher altitudes to get to the resources that they need. So we need to make sure that there's a place for them to go and a clear pathway for them to get there in order to survive. It is a fundamental issue for many of our species here. And so what we're looking at in this bill, what we like about it is it's not actually terribly prescriptive about what those solutions are going to be. We know it's going to be a hard problem to solve. We're going to need a code. We're going to need a lot of partners at the table. TNC is also a part of the Forest Conservation Advisory Group with RIFCO that is looking at developing those solutions. And we think that we can formalize the requirement of the state to come up with those solutions and implement them, including the voluntary programs that will be important for incentives for private property owners, as well as whatever regulatory structures are going to be needed in order to make sure that we can protect these unique natural resources for all the reasons, for protecting nature for nature's sake, for avoiding future siting conflicts, so that we can build our renewable and housing and all of the things that we need to build, and have sound economic development as a state. So thank you for your consideration of this bill.
Thank you very much. Any questions? No? Why not? Thank you both. And the other witness who had signed up in support with written testimony only was James Crowley from the Conservation